and welcome once again to the Midas Letter. It's great to have you with us for another afternoon of investigating, investing, cannabis, the world. My name's Howard Glassman, Humble Howard from the Humble and Fred Show. And thank you so much for having me in this chair for the last couple of days. Just one more on Monday. James will be back. Of course, with us, as always, is the man who is, he's not just an investor, he's a raconteur, he's a man of the world, he's a bon vivant. Big Ed. That's right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
May I say something to you?
Sure.
Of all the things I've learned this week, and I've learned quite a bit, I've enjoyed getting to know your story and finding out a little bit about where you've been, your acumen, your sensitivity. You're a hell of a guy there, Eddie. Is it Swarovski? What is it? Swarovski?
Milewski.
Honestly, somebody right now, I don't think I could get your name on a multiple choice.
You know what? That's okay.
Swarovski.
A name is just somebody that somebody gave you.
What? But not to be. What is your last name?
Milewski.
Milewski.
Yeah.
Thanks for my. You know my last? I just said it.
Glassman.
Yeah. Speaking of names, I know a lot of you have been curious about Khiron Life Sciences. The stock apparently has been quite active.
It's had a hell of a run, and it's pulled back quite a bit, but it looks like it's catching a bit here.
Okay. Just want everyone to know that the president of Khiron Life Sciences, Chris Naprawa. Chris has got the power. How's that for idiotic? He's coming on the show. I believe it's Tuesday. I just want to let you know I had a few people text me, email me about this Yuck Yucks gig I was doing. I was at Yuck Yucks in Niagara Falls last night. Then I came back to Toronto today to do the Midas Letter. I'm going back to Niagara Falls. I stayed overnight in a hotel last night. When was the last time you were in a hotel, sir? Do you stay in a residence here?
Sometimes I stay in a guest suite at an apartment complex in Yorkville.
That's nice.
Sometimes I stay at 1 King West. Sometimes I stay at the National Club.
Nice.
You know.
Well,
I got a few places that I don't want to talk about.
What does that mean? What do you have a few places you don't want to talk about?
Well, let's just say experience comes with age.
I honestly don't. Are you staying in a bordello? What does that even mean?
Not inexpensively.
It's funny. I haven't been in a hotel for a while.
I thought you were going to say I haven't been in a bordello for quite a while.
Bordello. I just noticed last night. I'm in a Best Western. It's a cheap hotel, and it's fine. You know, it's fine.
When you're sleeping, do you know where you are?
I don't even care.
Do you know where you are when you're sleeping?
But I walk in, and they've got the thing that says, in case you've forgotten something.
Yes.
Now, in the hotels you're staying in, it's like, it could be toothpaste, toothbrush, all kinds of stuff. It's all there, right? Yeah. The last night at the Best Western, it was shampoo.
Yeah.
This is what the card said, in case you forgot. Shampoo, conditioner, and lotion. Let me ask you, sir, as a man of the world.
Okay.
Do you think the hotel industry knows what the lotion's for?
There you go.
Doesn't matter, Ed.
There you go.
Oh, also, it's right next to an IHOP.
What? Now, what the hell's a IHOP?
International House of Pancakes, Ed.
Okay. IHOP.
Now,
IHOP.
There's a sign outside the IHOP. It says something breakfast. If you order this certain breakfast, you get unlimited pancakes. I thought that was an odd. Unlimited? How many pancakes is unlimited? Who walks in and says, infinite. I would like infinite pancakes?
Oh.
Just keep them coming. Anyway, these are just a few thoughts I had as we start this Friday show. It's going to be a great show. We got bloopers coming up later. We have a bunch of great guests. Here's what's happening on the show today. For reals, okay? Ricky will be doing the news here shortly. As well, this has been invaluable for me because I've had the privilege of talking to Ben a little bit off the show to help educate me in more of some of the more intricacies of what's going on here. Benjamin Smith, the Midas Letter financial writer, he'll be coming up shortly. As well, Ed's going to get a chance to talk to Mitchell Lavery, I believe, he's the president of Seahawk Ventures.
Yes.
Yeah. And are you still thinking about what the lotion's for, sir?
Is it for the ocean or is it for motion?
Well, I just wonder if the hotel industry realizes that the lotion is there, that no one's using it for it doesn't matter what they're using it for.
Lotion.
Benjamin Ferdinand, the CEO of Aleafia Health, will be here. They're pretty excited. They just got listed. The CFO of Aleafia Health, they got to be excited. They just got listed on the TSX, made the jump from the junior exchange. How's that for some verbiage I picked up this week?
You know what? You're a sponge.
You see that?
Yeah, I get that.
Picked up from the junior exchange.
I get that you're weighing on
everything you say.
Well, not everything I say, but you like to learn. You like to learn.
I do. Guys, put the card back up.
And I think
please.
that keeps you young too.
Benjamin's going to be here at a little bit later. Some people that I'm excited to talk to from the O'Cannabiz Conference. And I'll tell you why, Ed. I got a chance to go to it last year in Toronto, and it is something. Okay, thank you, guys. Also, you can post your questions in the comments section. I will say this. The guys in the production booth, all the guys with accents, Connor and Simon and Donald, I think you took them out and got them hammered last night. Is that the rumor I heard?
You know what? There's an establishment down the street that serves $5 drinks, and that's the only provision I make. If you're drinking $5 drinks, I'll probably pick up the tab.
Nice.
You step it up and start charging buying the high stuff, you're on your own.
Well, here's the thing. In case things go awry, just know that the guys in the booth, particularly he's 27 years old. He is hungover today. And this...
Is he hung or is he hungover?
Again, no one talks about what the lotion is for. Here's the thing. They're a little bit shaky in the booth, so if things go off the rails, you'll just have to understand. We're going to do the best we can for you. Let's begin as we do every show. Here's Ricky with the news.
Here are the headlines moving markets today. Cronos Group announced that the $2.4 billion Canadian equity investment in Altria Group has closed. As previously announced, Altria's investment represents an approximate 45% ownership interest in Cronos Group, and Altria also has a warrant to acquire additional ownership in Cronos Group, which is exercisable over the next 4 years. If exercised in full today, the warrant would increase Altria's ownership in Cronos Group to approximately 55% and provide Cronos Group with additional proceeds of approximately $1.4 billion Canadian dollars. Green Growth Brands Inc. announced the issuance of shares of common stock for completed consulting services with JDS 43,000 Consulting LLC and TSB Consulting LLC. In exchange for the services rendered, the company has issued to JDS 924,000 Canadian dollars in GGB common shares and has issued 231,000 Canadian dollars in GGB common shares to TSB. The common shares for both agreements are subject to a lockup agreement for a period of 12 months from the effective date. The Supreme Cannabis Company has a new CFO. The company has appointed Mr. Nikhil Handa as the company's new Chief Financial Officer. Current Chief Financial Officer Dmitry Naumov will become the company's Vice President of Finance. Mr. Handa was most recently the VP of Finance at Well.ca, an online destination for health, wellness, beauty, and baby products. Plus Products Inc. has secured eligibility by the Depository Trust Company for its shares on the OTC. BlissCo Cannabis Corp. announced it has shipped its initial order to the British Columbia Liquor Distribution Branch. BCLDB's initial order includes a variety of whole flower products from BlissCo's collection. Cemesis International Inc. announced the appointment of Mr. Deepak Anand to its board of directors. Mr. Anand brings over 15 years of leadership in the health, charitable, and private sectors, where he has amassed a wealth of experience in regard to business development, strategy, and executive leadership. And that's your news for today.
Ed just offered me soap. I don't even want to talk about it. Ed's here. We're getting to, I want to talk a little bit about the markets today, but there was a story that Ricky had about the Cronos Group. They had a $2.4 billion equity investment in Altria.
Altria invested in Cronos.
Oh, okay. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that before we talk about the markets today. What does that mean to you?
Well, that's very significant when a major company that's in the tobacco business, Altria is a monster in that field.
Okay.
They've said, well, you know what? we've looked at the landscape, and we're going to put a sizable amount of money into Cronos. And so what does that do? It legitimizes Cronos, because now they've got a major company that has major cash flow, and now they've taken a stake in Cronos. So Cronos is now in a different league.
Well, so what I'm just, excuse my ignorance, what does this make both companies stronger?
Well,
like, in a deal like this, does one company, is it because they are trying to, is that to do something for their stock prices? Is it?
Well, you ask a question.
Yeah.
So let's just put up this chart.
Chart it up.
Chart it up. Okay.
Let's chart it up.
Chart it up.
Let's chart it up.
So Cronos stock.
Here we come. Here comes a chart. So
Cronos stock. Look at this. This was around. It's a 6-month chart. That looks like November.
Okay.
So November the stock's $10. It's now $30. So what do you think it's done for Cronos? You could triple your money in 6 months. So Cronos has got a major backer.
Okay.
So that de-risks it substantially. I can't say it
so
another
it
way.
mitigates some of their risk.
It doesn't do that much for the other company. I can put the other company up, and you could say it hasn't gone through the roof here.
Okay, but just go back to the chart for a second, though.
Yeah.
So this deal was just announced. Where are we today? They have a little green candle there. It looks like.
Yeah. Okay, that last candle. I mean, well, all I'm saying is 6 months ago, okay, so look, this is when they announced the deal. See that gap? It jumped. It jumped from around $13 to sort of 17, 18, pulled back, filled the gap, and then marched from here. Look at that move.
Yeah.
And then when you see a big move go exponential, there's a correction. We've been correcting ever since. Yeah. But the point is, and this company was basically pissed on by a group in the States saying there's nothing here. Well, Altria, they saw something different.
When this just closed, that's the news. When it was announced, you said there was a little bit of a gap.
Well,
did it scare investors? And I ask you, Midas nerds, did any of you actually buy this?
A lot of people bought it. That's what drove it up. Because people thought, well, if it's good enough for Altria, it's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Altria is $1 billion tobacco conglomerate. And so, look so the deal closed. Stock does nothing.
But when the deal was announced, it raced.
Buy on rumor, buy on mystery, sell on history.
Wow.
Buy on rumor, sell on news. In other words, the news is out. But for all intents and purposes, it was going to, I'll tell you this, Howard. If this deal wasn't going to close, this stock wouldn't still be here. And it was up here. It made the move. So people thought, people would know. Because if it wasn't going to close, that information would have somehow leaked into the system. Hey, this thing ain't going to close.
Buy on rumor, sell on news.
Buy on mystery, sell on history.
You're unbelievable.
Well, no, I don't make this shit up. These are adages that have stood the test of time.
Well, I'm just, I'm soaking it up, my friend. We're going to get to Ben here in a second. Maybe we can ask, hey, Ben Smith's joining us. Hi, Ben, how are you? It's me, Howard, I'm still here. You got to turn Ben up, we can't hear him.
Turn Ben up, please.
Turn Ben up. Turn up.
We can't hear Ben. There he is.
I guess we're tripling up this week, guys. So
what's up there, bud?
Here I am.
I'm not sure if you heard our man Ed talking about this deal that just closed with the Cronos Group. He mentioned that the stock ran on the rumor or on the news of the deal, and then it had a nice little run up from November. But now the deal has been announced, and it seems to have sort of stagnated.
Yeah, it's the big action took place prior to the closing.
Buy on mystery, sell on history.
Well, it's going to hold its value because they've got basically $2.8 million.
Okay, so Ben, what do you think of that?
Yeah, Ed's absolutely correct. You want to buy the sizzle and sell the steak, so to speak, because valuations can go anywhere. They can rise way beyond the fundamentals when people use their imagination. When people think of what could be, or what future revenue growth, future cash flows could be. But once the reality comes and it's actually here, sometimes that revenue growth that is perceived in the euphoria stage is, doesn't quite materialize. Now, the internet bubble is a perfect example of that, where you had all these internet stocks, run up to these crazy valuations, and only about maybe 5% of them actually panned out, the Apples and Amazons of the world. But for every one of those, you had about 20 pets.com and, companies of that nature that went belly up, that business models never stood the test of time, but they were still run up to, multi-$100 million valuations.
That is such a great education for someone like myself. It's sort of been I've invested a little bit, but these things that I'm learning from you guys this week, those are important fundamentals of investing. And I would assume if you're watching this Midas Letter, you're hoping to glean some of the same information from Ben and Ed as I am. Now, Ben, there is bad economic news continuing to trickle in. Let's talk about, what do you think about? Well, is it the U.S. economy? And I know that there has been some jobs reports coming out.
Yeah, for the third time this week, the theme has remained steady all week. Bad economic numbers keep trickling in. In this case, we have 20,000 new jobs, job growth in the United States, which is pretty substandard when you consider the size of that economy. So, it was obviously well below expectations. You don't really look at the unemployment report, the unemployment rate. I don't really look at that now because a lot of people are dropping out of the labor force. So it's not really the same accurate portrayal as it used to be in decades past or years past. So it's not good. Germany as well, they came in with industrial production, I believe, at negative 2.5% versus 0.5% growth. So the Eurozone is slowing down. Germany is the heart of that, and it's just more of the same. It's more of, the cannabis hockey stick growth curve versus, broad market macroeconomic slowdown, which is taking place right now. So it's going to be a very pitched battle. It's going to be a lot of volatility in the months ahead, I think.
Now, before we get to Tilray, I just want to go back to those economic numbers. It's interesting because fake news, all the bullshit baffles brains. President Trump, before he left the White House for, I think he's going to Alabama today and then off to Mar-a-Lago to golf or whatever he does. But he talked about it's interesting how they spun those numbers in the States, because even though the jobs, they were expecting 180,000, they got 20. What they were touting, though, today in America is, on the heels of it being International Women's Day, they were talking about women's jobs were way up percentage-wise for the month. They weren't talking about how they didn't meet expectations. There's no question. There's no question there, Ben. That's just information.
Yeah, I never heard about that, Howard. But if people want to get into identity politics and things like that, I'm probably the wrong person to talk to you about that. But I think we got to look at, when you look at the jobs market, I think that's great for women and great for certain groups if they're experience outsized growth. But I mean, when the whole labor market should be viewed as everybody participating, and the jobs growth was not there this month.
Tilray downgraded to underperform. $61 price target shows that some investment banks won't automatically give favorable outlooks. Explain that to me.
Yeah, I view this, the downgrade as significant because up to this point, we have only really received, glowing upgrades. If you recall, Piper Jaffray in January, we talked about this a couple days ago. They put a price target outperform and $40 rating on Canopy Growth, and then 2 weeks later, they actually raised it to $60 a share, which is quite crazy when you think how could their outlook change 50% in 2 weeks. It's because their price target was already met, so they had to raise it further to have some sort of benchmark to look forward to. But this is the first time that I can recall for U.S. investment bank coverage that there's actually been a price point, a price target which is lower than the current price, and by a good 12 or 13, 14%. So I think this tells or should tell investors that the investment banks, first of all, they may not be completely into banking or getting into banking services, if they're going to give price targets that are lower than the actual price, it's not really a way to win over customers. So Jefferies Group may not be, in full banking mode and providing those services to the industry right now. But I think more importantly is investors shouldn't automatically assume that every price upgrade is going to be a catalyst. You may get these, as more investment banks join the fray, some of these price targets may not be all, outstanding. So you have to keep that in mind. It's not always going to be bullish, although Tilray is flat on the day, so it's sort of mitigated that news somewhat.
Hang on a second, Ben. Ed Milewski has a question. Edward.
Yeah, Ben. Yesterday we talked about Tilray, and I noted that it was looking like it was starting to break down, and in fact, it closed below 70. And then it opened, I guess I didn't realize it, but it opened around 63, 64, close to that target. Isn't it coincidental that they're getting a downgrade when it looks like technically, and again, this isn't advanced charting, this is sort of like you look at this chart, it broke a significant base. So right around the time it breaks down, somebody puts out a downward revision. I mean, it seems like someone's looking at some charts here.
Yeah, well, I mean, as part of their main reason for downgrading, they said that some of their parts of their operation aren't perhaps lagging their peers. So I don't know if they're looking at the price chart and sort of front running that, perhaps getting some sort of bearish position and making that call, or if it's just strictly coincidence. It's sort of the investment banks or institutional investors are not looking favorably on Tilray, which tends to have a much higher valuation than its peers, and then just making that call irrespective of what the price is doing. It's kind of hard to say, but either way, this was the first time a U.S. investment bank, to my knowledge, has put a price target lower than the current price. So not everything is going to be bullish going forward, although most price targets probably will be.
There is some strength, as you said in the note to me, said some strength remains in some of the tier one mid-major names. Talk about some of those.
Yeah, if there's a silver lining in all this to what's been a fairly tough week. I mean, not crazy to the downside. We've only drifted off 3 or 4% on HMMJ, the benchmark ETF. So it's nothing too substantial, but the good news is that there's still, some mid-major stocks that are doing pretty well, and even Aurora Cannabis is up today, and it's held, much of the gains from when it was upgraded to outperform with a $14 price target by Cowan Group. So Village Farms, for example, came out with a midday press release, and they're having sales on one of their platforms. And it's risen. It's actually up on the week, and that's been one of the big risers lately. So it's not all bad. I mean, there is some strength in certain parts of the market, and there's been a lot of bleed out in terms of prices for a large section of the market. But there's still pockets of strength, and it's not all doom and gloom. But it has been a tough week for the most part.
Well, and you mentioned Village Farms, you mentioned Aurora, we mentioned the Cronos Group. Ricky had that story in the news, and as Ed was explaining, that when that was announced in the fall, that's when the stock ran up, and then now that it's closed, it seems to be a little bit sort of tepid.
It's had a major run.
It's had a major run. Ben Smith. Thank you very much. This was great this week, and I really appreciate it because Ben was kind enough to send me some notes. We had a call. He kind of gave me a little bit of some tutoring. I want to wish you the best. Do you have any big plans for the weekend? I want to also mention that shirt you're wearing is also very cool. You've got the little, I don't even know what those are called, like a
epaulets.
That's it. Of course, Ed would know what that is. What are your plans this weekend, young man?
No big plans, Howard. I'm just going to hang out with the family and, do a few family things. And I think it's going to be a quiet weekend overall.
You have a family, you have boys or girls?
I have 2 young daughters.
There you go. Internet, so do I. Well, they used to be young daughters. Now they're old and all they do is make fun of me. Happy International Women's Day then to you, sir.
All right. Thanks, Howard.
All right,
thanks,
my
Ed.
friend. There you go. Ben Smith.
See you, Ben.
He's a
nice
good man.
Chatting. Yeah, Ben's
He's a good boy, Ben. You got daughters or sons?
I got 2 daughters.
I have 2 older brothers. Between us, we have 6 daughters. I know.
There's no, it's random.
We have 6 daughters, and one of my brothers has a son. We just pump up the...
How many brothers do you have?
I have 2 older brothers.
Are you the youngest?
Well, I have 2 older brothers, so what would that make me, sir?
The youngest?
Yeah. Are you the youngest?
No. I have 1 younger sister.
Okay. All right, well, listen, there's still more to come. In fact, up next, Ed. That's right, Ed will be speaking to the president and chief geologist of Seahawk Ventures. Seahawk Ventures Inc. is a Canadian resource exploration company and the 2nd largest landowner in the Urban Barry Greenstone Belt in the Abitibi sub-province of Quebec, Canada. Seahawk currently owns 5 properties in the region and is the busiest gold exploration camp in Canada. Seahawk Ventures Inc. is listed on the CSE under the ticker symbol SHV.
I'm joined now by Mitchell Lavery, president of Seahawk Ventures.
That's right.
Ticker SHV on the CSE.
On the CSE.
And you're a geo.
I'm a geo.
And we've met several times over the years, but either one of us can remember
exactly.
Great to have you here, Mitch.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So Seahawk, grassroots operation.
Grassroots operation with a large, 2nd largest land package in the Urban Barry Gold Belt.
Urban Barry. Now that's a famous gold belt, I take it.
Well, it's certainly the gold belt you're hearing a lot of news right now from because of the Bonterra situation and the Cisco situation.
Okay, so Bonterra and Cisco. I've been hearing a lot about Bonterra.
Yeah, Bonterra has a. They have their mine, the Bachelor Lake mine on care and maintenance now, and they have their Barry Pit right now on care and maintenance, and they have their Gladiator, which is the old Bonterra property. That's also waiting for permitting. Windfall is going ahead, from what I understand, with the Windfall zone. They have just announced that they're splitting in 2, 1 operating company, 1 exploration company. So I think that's really good news for everybody in the area.
Okay. So specifically, how many hectares do you have?
We have somewhere in the neighborhood of 25,000 hectares, split up among 5 different properties, from large to very, very small.
Okay. And so let's talk about the share structure. You have not a lot of shares outstanding.
No, we have about 30 million outstanding, and the insiders own about 50% of that.
Okay, and
no overhang, no warrants, no nothing.
Right, and what about cash in the bank?
Cash in the bank, we have about $800,000, which is super Quebec flow-through, and about 100,000 hard dollars right now. And that's one of the things I'm doing is try to raise more hard dollars,
right,
so I can be comfortable in what I'm doing.
And so you got all this land. It hasn't really been drilled to any great degree.
That's right.
So you don't know. I mean, you're looking for gold,
yep,
but you could also find base metals.
I could.
There's a zinc mine nearby.
That's right. 8 kilometers south of our BLIS property, which is the extreme western property on the Urban Barry Belt, is the Langlois mine, which NYSTAR owns.
And that's been in production?
It's been in production for about 15 years now.
Okay. So now, do you have any drilling programs set up at this point? Are you planning on doing some drilling this year?
Absolutely. We have just completed an airborne detailed mag on the Blitz, which is the west end. Next week we will be flying the Skyfall, which is on the east end. We've already done the airborne geophysics on the central properties, so we have targets already on these central properties.
Right.
And when we analyze the new geophysical data, I've got a prospecting crew all ready to go when the snow's gone.
Right.
And so I'm looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 holes this summer.
Now, how this property, because I'm not that familiar with it, to be honest with you, but Is there infrastructure there, or is there like how are the any roads?
All kinds of roads. This is a big logging area.
And power is pretty cheap in Quebec, right?
Power is the cheapest in Quebec.
I mean, so you'd think the Ontario would have done a deal with them. Don't get me going. Don't get me going. Anyway, so you got power, you got roads, you raised some money.
Yeah, and we've got suppliers, and we've got hotel rooms and whatever else.
And you got lots of experience in the company.
Yep.
So no novices making mistakes.
No, I think I've been around since graduation, about 45 years.
Yeah.
And the day I graduated, I moved from London, Ontario to Toronto, Ontario, and started working for a mining company.
So you lived in London?
I did. I graduated from Western.
Yeah. So you know where the Seeps is?
I do.
So you say half the shares are owned by management, basically?
Management and
close associates.
Close
friends?
associates, yes.
Okay, so you got a structure that if you get some action, it's going to move.
Exactly, and very, very loyal shareholders.
And outside of management, are there any institutional holders, or is it just basically high net worth investors?
Basically high net worth at this point.
Okay. Is there anything you want to add at this point?
That we're completing these airborne surveys, and we're ready to go when the snow's gone. And the one intriguing part is our easternmost property, the Skyfall. Half the property has never been flown. It's a 12,000 hectare property. So we're looking at. I'm expecting to get some really good surprises there. I'm expecting to get good surprises everywhere. Our one priority target right now is what we call our touchdown property, where there have been 2 samples taken off it. One assayed 27 grams per ton gold, the other assayed 11.
And what kind of widths?
This just grab samples, so
okay.
weight, yeah.
So the fact that Cisco's in the area, didn't you say that they're splitting up into an exploration company and a producing company?
That's what I'm led to understand, and I talked to the Cisco people a couple of days ago, and they confirmed it.
And so that would be good, because they're obviously big shareholders in the area.
Absolutely, they're the biggest land holder in the area. Huge package of land.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the price of gold, I mean, I know it jumped today, and it seems to jump when the markets get ugly. Certainly not a bad price point for gold in Canada.
Absolutely. People forget that gold is quoted in U.S. dollars.
Right.
And we work in Canadian dollars.
Okay. Mitch, thanks a lot.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate having you here, and at some point in the future, when you're drilling, we'd like to have you back and get an update.
Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
If you're enjoying the show, subscribe to Midas Letter on YouTube so you stay up to date on everything investment.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Ed was just telling me. I'm learning so much from the Ed man. We're just talking about one of the things that as you get older, it's tougher to get a great night's sleep. And last night, the Ed man slept. He went to bed at 9 and woke up at 6. And that's why he had that Tim's coffee, talking to the mining guy.
Yeah.
He needed it. He said.
I needed it.
Yeah.
I needed it.
Well, we're like half an hour into the show. We haven't even talked about the markets today. We're 25 minutes away from the close when we talk about, when it shuts down at 4 o'clock. But when you came in today, you said things are looking a little bit murky.
Murky, but they've rallied. Like the HMMJ is now positive, which is the marijuana ETF.
Yep.
But the S&P was down almost 1%, 25 points, I believe, and it's now down only maybe 8, 9, 10 points. So the candle today, because it's rallied from being way down, it's still down, but that's considered a green candle. So we've had 4 bad candles. Today's, well, let's put the chart up.
And while you do that, I mean, when people see the markets down in the early part of trading, is there an emotional response? Is it people see that as things start to, they're maybe not as good as they'd like it to be, they start to see opportunity?
Well, we've had a nice correction now, and there's a few things that I read in the last couple of days that suggested, and Ben said it yesterday, that his indicators are suggesting a correction, but not a big one. And so maybe this is it.
Okay.
So we've corrected about 100 points from the S&P.
Let's have a look at
Here's
this.
the chart.
Let me look at the chart.
Okay. And I'm going to use this chart because it shows the critical action from October. But we had a downward move here.
Yeah,
okay?
that's this
That's
week.
100 points. So we whereas we really couldn't get down below this moving average, we've gone down, and now we're fighting back today. We got a green candle. I'll say that, and I'll say that also gold was up sharply today. Gold is sort of the, and when everything looks like shit, gold.
People go to gold.
People go to gold.
I have a gold question for you. Hang on a second.
All right.
Here, hang on. Let me get to Ben here. Sent me this thing. View messages. Today's talking points. Here we go. Gold rebounded to the 1,300 level today.
Yeah.
Based on what? Ed's looking at his own.
Well,
phone.
what I'm doing is I'm looking at the gold thing.
you
I have my
texting?
own. No.
Are you doing some texting?
Once in a while I do the texting.
Oh, you do the texting, do you?
So let me take a look at gold here, okay?
So gold rebounded is the point of this conversation, right?
Gold dropped dramatically as this market's sort of kept moving up. Gold corrected, I think, about $50, $60. You might say, well, so what? Well, look at you can't look at everything. Gold's at $12.9970. That's up $13.60. It's a pretty good move, especially when you consider a pretty big drop.
Yeah.
So, but gold.
What was the drop? What did it drop to?
It dropped from about $13.45 to about $12.85.
Okay.
So 45, 15, about $60. Okay. But look. It's all relative, right? It's all relative. We're talking about, selling pressure versus buying pressure in various commodities, equities, interest rates. Things are up and down. Everything's moving. But the thing that I wanted to say, when the market gets a little jumpy, gold seems to catch a bit because it seems to be the bit of last resort.
Right. People, and again, I don't know this. Just I know historically, people will go to it as a safe haven.
Yeah.
Later on, I want to talk about some of the recent small cap cannabis runners that were
that's sure
that didn't do well today, and the break in the S&P.
Yeah, look at we've corrected here, and the chart's up here, and we had five red candles.
Right.
But today's candle is reversed a bit.
Okay.
And I was talking to a good friend of mine, Jay Mecklinger, over at Haywood. And Jay's a pretty astute student of the market, and he said he wouldn't be surprised if late in the day it'd be a good buy. Well, he wasn't sure if it was going to be the middle of the day, late in the day, but I talked to a lot of these guys just to get sort of affirmation of, like you talk to Ben, you talk to Jay, you talk to me. You want to make sure you're not way out in left field.
Right.
So
you don't want to be talking to some hotshot salesman trying to sell you some
snake oil.
Yeah.
Hey,
see,
lotion.
Buy on rumor, sell on news. Up next, I'll be speaking to the CFO of Aleafia Health, which is about to start trading on the TSX. Aleafia Health Inc. is a Canadian licensed producer and vendor of cannabis. The company has a planned and fully funded annual production capacity of 98,000 kilograms of dried cannabis flower. Aleafia operates medical cannabis clinics staffed by physicians and nurse practitioners with over 50,000 patients. In December of 2018, Aleafia Health acquired Emblem Corp. in an all-share transaction valued at approximately $173.2 million. Aleafia Health Inc. is listed on the TSX Venture under the ticker symbol ALEF. And our guest is the CFO of Aleafia. I need to say it slowly so I don't slur it. Aleafia Health, which is, it's got to be exciting. It's got to be an exciting day for Benjamin Ferdinand. How are you, sir?
Great to see you.
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
How you feeling good today? It's got to be amazing. You're on the junior exchange. You get listed. Talk to us about the process.
Yeah, so it's been an exciting process for us, and we recently just achieved the top performing company for TSX Venture, so that's very exciting. And over the last couple of days, we've just announced that we are going to be upgrading to the TSX Senior Exchange, where it's an elite company with the cannabis space. So we're very excited about that, and shows our track record of execution.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that for the company. I mean, as you say, you've just graduated. We talked about it on the news this week. What is the upside of being on the TSX?
Yeah, so what it really allows you to do is have access to a lot more institutional investors, which is exciting, and really where you want to get to as our companies mature, and when we get close to the the $1 billion range, that's when we start to become more attractive for those types of investors, and it also adds to the credibility and shows our track record. So we're excited.
It kind of leads into my next question, which is, we're going to get to the business model in a moment. What does it mean for shareholders?
Yeah. So from a shareholder's perspective, I think it helps to validate the trust that they have in us, and builds the credibility of the brand that we have. So I think it's really a sign that there's a lot more to come, and really validates it.
Well, I can ask you a little bit about your company. I mean, this must have been a big day for you guys in the office. You were celebrating. Were you celebrating with? Did you have like cake and things? What is the company? I don't know what it. Did you have everyone come into the lunchroom and somebody went out for muffins? What is it?
Yeah, so it's we have although we're getting to be a larger company, we still have the startup feel and enthusiasm. So we had there was some high fives.
Were there?
Yeah.
Benjamin.
Yeah.
High fives.
Backslapping. Yeah.
The company. The leading Canadian medical cannabis clinic and education center network, 60,000 patients to date. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about your company.
Yeah, so what Aleafia Health is focused on is being the leading health and wellness cannabis company globally, and that's not just about having products and services. What we're really building is an ecosystem that's self-reinforcing, and we do that through 4 pillars. One is our product division, which is focused on growing extraction and high-value products such as gel caps, extraction, and sprays. Second is our health and wellness division, which as you mentioned is the largest clinic platform in Canada, giving us 60,000 patients seen. Third is our education platform, which allows us to teach not only consumers but also doctors and large firms.
Well, let's just step in there with doctors, because that really is, for a company like yours that's doing what you do. Educating the public is one thing, but also gaining the trust of clinicians is a whole other aspect.
Yeah.
Because, I spoke about this earlier this week with somebody, and I said, a couple of years ago I went to my doctor, and the Ontario Medical Association really didn't want to, deal with this until there was a lot more research, and companies like yours, I mean, I guess that's part of the education process.
Exactly, and one of our key business model differentiators is working very closely with doctors, and to do that you need the credibility that we're able to bring, and part of that is actually educating general practitioners, as you've highlighted,
right.
And becoming a thought leader in the space with some of our research that's come out around around how cannabis can help getting off of addictive sedatives, as well as cannabis in the workplace, which is coming up as well.
Well, that's that really is something that I've done a lot of reading into about how there are so many products, so many cannabis-related, modalities, if you will, that are looking to replace some harmful chemical solutions to problems that doctors and people have been looking at for years. In a company like yours, as you say, a thought leader in educating not only the public but the medical people as well.
Yeah, and you hit the nail right on the head. We view ourselves really as cannabis, or sorry, as opioid crusaders, where we're focused on getting people away from addictive substances and actually helping better their lives. Right. So I think this is all in the same vein.
Well, I love hearing people like you talk about that, because there really is. I mean, I know there was a lot of giggling that went on. Oh, cannabis is going to be legal. Weed's going to be legal in Canada. And I think the initial bloom was, oh, great, we can all get high. And as I said a ton of time, people were already getting high. It's the access to the sort of therapeutic use I don't think people really considered that when the announcement was made a few years ago.
You're completely right. Our core is focused on health and wellness, and our target market, our average user, is the baby boomer, right? So these are people who are generally well off, but are using some things that aren't good for themselves, right? Such as opioids. And what we allow them to do is actually use cannabis to help better their lifestyle.
Well, I was just talking about with Ed a second ago about having trouble sleeping. As you age, it's a fact that sleep is tougher to attain, and I love the fact you're doing sprays and capsules and replacing sleep medication with the person who knows the right dosage. Before I let you go, I want to talk about you approved a takeover of Emblem. Let's talk about your takeover and what was the reason, what it means to production capacity, all those sort of business things. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so we're really excited. So our Emblem transaction, as you alluded to, will be closing next week.
Yep.
And what it's really allowed us to do is really build up our ecosystem. So now we're able to have our production of cannabis, as well as having what Emblem really brought is extraction and product development and distribution, and allowing that to complete our ecosystem with our medical-based patients. So it really helped to create a sustainable, defendable platform. It's going to be difficult for our competitors to replicate, and really helps us give our consumers what they want when they want it.
So that takes care of that question. Will this affect the share price?
Yeah, so I can't give forward guidance, but
no, of course. I love that. That's such a great name. Forward guidance is a way for you to say, I can't tell you to.
But what we can say is we're really excited about the ecosystem that we've built. It's very defendable. We're going to have close to 140 million grams of production at the run rate, as well as the clients and patient and the ecosystem to actually sell those products through. So it's a very unique business model, and we're really excited about it.
Good for you. What about some other partnerships outside of Canada?
Yeah, so what we're focused, again, globally, as you've alluded to. We've got a partnership with Canada Pacific, which is an Australian-based licensed producer, and we're looking at others as well through, whether it be Germany, Europe, or other areas globally, but really exporting our ecosystem globally.
Well, listen, Benjamin Ferdinand, the CFO of Aleafia, see, I get it now, Aleafia Health. Congratulations on all your success. You got you graduated to the big exchange. You were also, as you said off the top, recognized. What was that designation? You just the award?
Yeah, so Company of the Year for TSX Venture 50.
Company of the Year.
Yeah.
Now, what was the criteria for that?
Yeah, so it's a combination of largely share price and market cap. Yeah.
Was there a talent portion of that pageant? Was there?
No, but you like to think talent had something to do with it, but it was really all based on numbers.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed your time here today.
Yeah, this is fantastic. We really appreciate it.
All the best to you, and congratulations. Let's take a look now at some of the big cannabis news and events coming up. Here are some upcoming events. CV Sciences, CVSI financials will be coming out Q4 on March 12th. CV Sciences conference call. You'll be looking forward to that on the 12th of March as well at 4:30 Eastern. Acreage Holdings, look for their financials Q4 on March 12th as well. And Acreage Holdings will have their conference call on the same day, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Tilray, ticker symbol TLRY. Financials will be coming out for Q4 on the 18th of March. Tilray's conference call, if you're interested, will be happening March 18th, 5 o'clock Eastern. The Cronos Group, CRON, their Q4 financials will be released on the 26th of March. And if you're interested, you can call into their conference call on the 26th of March at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We got a lot of time to kill, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to speak slowly. I don't know if you were there, you heard talking to me, talking to Benjamin there, Benjamin Ferdinand.
CFO of Aleafia, yeah.
You know, and I have had this conversation with people in this business for a couple years now. And I wanted to just get your take on this, because you're a little bit older than me, but we're both, I'm at the young end of the baby boomers.
Yeah.
You're a 67-year-old man.
I'm closer to 100 than I am to 33.
Okay. So am I, by the way, aren't I?
No.
I'm not?
No. No. You're closer to 20 than you are to 100. Just saying.
What are you doing? Oh, you want Ed to sit up?
No, he wants me to put the chair up. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Now,
here's the thing. The reason I mentioned baby boomers.
I got the biggest problem in the world with this chair. Okay, go ahead. Baby boomers.
The biggest problem in the world is your chair?
No, their biggest problem is my chair. Okay.
I've been fascinated by this market for a long time. In fact, you know, you said something to me off when we were on a break there. You said, I think you said it off the air about it's almost the cannabis run. Like if you're not already in it, it may be too late, but
maybe.
But here's the thing, not that I missed an opportunity, because I think I mentioned earlier in the week that I bought Canopy when it was $10. I knew there was something up, but I just wish I'd bought more.
Jesus.
I know. I didn't buy a lot, though.
I smoked a lot of pot in my day, and I never bought any.
Well, this is what I want to say. See, guys like you, guys like my brother, you're the same age as my older brother. For years, the baby boomers were using cannabis, and then they heard it was going to be legal. But I don't think anyone understood the ramifications as an investment property, but also as a lifestyle enhancement. Because as I said to Benjamin, you know, when it was announced it was going to be legal, everyone was giggling about, oh, now we can get high. Everyone was getting high anyway. Anyone that's why I was laughing about the government. On the day I was here for the first time on October 17th when cannabis became legal, and 2 days later, the government ran out of it. The thing is, it was always available, they just needed to make it legal. Then they made it legal, and it wasn't as available as it was before. But that aside, they're going to work out those bugs, right? But the big growth in this industry are companies like Aleafia that are in the therapeutic. You know, we've had a couple companies on the show this week that are doing, it's clinical, it's doctors, it's Shoppers Drug Mart. Those are the big opportunities. Forget about selling weed to people to get them, people will always find weed to get them high. What do you think of that?
Well, you mentioned baby boomers, and it's not a well-known fact that if you ask a person, what's the year with the most births in North America? And I think it applies to the U.S. mainly. So what do you think the year with the most births, the most people born, and it ties into the baby boom?
1947, 48?
No, it's actually 57, 58.
57, oh, okay.
So it's like...
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah, so I'm a pre, like... All the real action and the growth in classrooms happened just after me.
Sure.
So you're right there.
I'm 1960, and you're 1857.
51.
1851.
Yeah. So look. So you just think about your lifestyle and what you're thinking about, and magnify it by everybody around you, because that's where the action's going to be. And what's it going to be? It's going to be aches and pains and oh, my knee.
Absolutely.
So the growth, and if maybe marijuana, and James West is a proponent of this, is that, you know, it's a wonder drug. In fact,
well, I am as well. You know, like I know people, and again, I don't know. I just learned about the MMJ. Like I learned some terms this week, but I will tell you this. I know a lot of people that have been using cannabis therapeutically, and the reason I mentioned the baby boomers, because if I were somebody interested in investing in marijuana, I would just look at all the companies that are making aches and pains medication. Because as Ed said, you know, there's this whole cohort of people that are going to be needing anti-inflammatories, that are going to be needing migraine medicine, that are going to be needing menopausal medicine. And those companies that make the therapeutic cannabis, those would be, for me, the ones to watch.
I think that's the CBD.
No, because, and I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
All cannabis has both THC and CBD. The cannabinoid, you know, receptors, we all have those in our bodies. THC, because there are some therapies, a lot of people get that mixed up. They think that the therapeutic cannabis is just CBD. It's not. Because there are some THC-infused therapies. The psychotropic effect is the THC. But what THC does when in concert with cannabinoids, the CBD part, what it does is it enhances some of the therapeutic effects.
Okay. I'm not.
You didn't know I was such a weed nerd, did you?
No, but listen. Look, you talk to people like that never used cannabis,
right?
And now they're older, and now it's legal. And somebody said, "Well, try this for your sacroiliac or your whatever, right?"
For your sacroiliac.
and
for your sacroiliac.
Yeah, isn't that
Sure.
a medical part of your anatomy or
I'll
something?
tell you right now, a lot of people your age and higher are nervous about marijuana because they think, oh, I tried it in university, I'm not going to do it again. But I know some people whose parents were aging and they started baking it into some of their food to get their appetite up, to help them with their Parkinson's, all kinds of things. And that's why I'm saying one of the things I want to start learning more about is the companies that are making those therapies, like Aleafia. Let's take a look at some of the stuff. We're going to get to the markets closing here in a couple minutes' time. But Ed's going to take a quick look at some charts now. He's going to stare at this computer until the chart comes up.
Yeah.
What are you going to look at now?
So let's take a look at North 44, which we follow. That's not North 44. So
48 North.
48 North.
48 North.
North 44 is a restaurant that you go to. And by the way, for the second time during the show, Ed's changed his glasses.
Yeah, because I'm sort of a chameleon.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm feeling a little blue right now. So here's North 48 North.
Right. Allison was on the show earlier this week.
And look, we talked about this, and here it is, a new all-time high.
Wow.
Okay, and so.
And they had a big jump as well just recently, did they not?
It's moved from about, for some unknown reason. Well, somebody knew the reason. From around 75 cents, they did a merger.
That's right.
You had a couple ladies.
We had them on earlier in the week, yes.
It was 75 cents. Look at this. This is worth using my.
What is it at now?
$1.52.
Wow. I'm trying to think. I have it in some notes here.
Here you go.
Where are they?
And there's different ways you can do this, but there's a line there, and it broke that line, and that was a signal to buy.
Wow.
And so. Yeah, $1.52. Look at this thing. Traded 3.67 million shares. So not all stocks are having a rough go in the marijuana space. And let's compare that to Canopy Growth, which is Canopy Growth is sort of the bellwether one in Canada.
That's the blue chipper.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, man.
Let's take a look.
Let's take a look at Canopy, and I want to talk about this term. The key level in the HMMJ, according to Ben, is $19.34 in the short term. He says, although we're more than $2 away currently. What does he mean by that?
So just say that again, because I want to digest what he said. So
he said in the HMMJ, 1934 is a key level in the short term, although we're more than $2 away currently.
Okay. I guess I think what he's saying is 1934 is a major. Well, look, okay, so I'm going to have to switch charts here, if you want to.
All right.
So we go to.
Well, why don't you do this chart first, then we'll go to the other.
Okay, so
and then the markets are closing in about 60 seconds. We'll take a look at how that happens.
So look at weed, Canopy Growth. This is the granddaddy of them all here in Canada.
Okay.
This is like an almost. If you look at this, you can sort of get a snapshot of the. So look at that top, okay, and that's a major top. Like you got that top, you got that top. And then you got a terrible correction right into Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay. Right
like
there.
a lot of the markets.
Like a lot of the markets.
Yeah.
And then this unbelievable rally, but we've come into what I would call congestion. In other words, look at that. That thing is straight up, right?
Wow.
But now we get into here, and again, this is just a looking at the chart. This top seems to be a bit lower than this top. In other words. Less energy.
Right, it didn't come back as much.
It didn't come as much, and it still may, but that top looks kind of similar to this top. So I'm saying maybe the next move is down. Now, I'm not making a bet here, so I can say what the hell I want, right? But it looks to me like if I was a betting man, and I am, if I was going to make a bet, I might say the next move based on that chart only, not forgetting about what it represents, is to the downside.
Because it's gone down, but it went down like a lot of stocks in the fall.
Yeah.
But your point is it hasn't come up as much.
It hasn't come up as much, and it's having a difficult time getting going. Okay.
All right.
And so there. So let's take a look at the HMMJ now. You want to do that?
Sure. Just lose the bottom frame here for a second. I'm going to pick my nose.
Okay.
Guys.
All right.
There you go. No, don't go to me.
Yeah, he's got to pick. He's got to pick.
I got to get this back in my ear. Okay, go. Let's go to the HMMJ.
Okay.
Now, again, he said 1934 is the key level, although he says we're more than $2 away currently.
Yeah, I can't until I put up the chart. Okie dokie. Okay. I got it now. So he said 1934, we're at around 21.70, so we're $2 above that level. What he's saying is, if it gets below this point here, just a minute. This point here,
right?
That's the trouble. In other words, that low turned out to be a short-term low with a good follow-up,
right?
And now we've come down again, and it's looking sloppy. The lines are starting to level out, but he's saying as long as that level holds, we're okay. I kind of think that's right. So 1934, that was probably the reaction low. We closed below that. Maybe we're going to see some weakness.
So when it breaks through on the downside, you're saying if it goes below 1934, it might just keep running.
And keep
running south.
South.
But, and again, I understood this conceptually. Is that when you start betting against it? Short term?
You know, market timing, I mean, look, if somebody came out tomorrow and said marijuana is causing serious problems and, you know, get the hell out of town quick. Like, you know, if somebody came out and said, hey, this stuff's going to kill you. Like,
okay, it's not, but go ahead.
No, but shit like that happens, right? Like we had a big.
So some big scandal happened.
Well, whatever, right? So the HMMJ, we had some downward pressure coincidental with the S&P action. Today we had a green candle. Started out red, started out ugly. And Jay warned me that it was a bit, you know, we were looking for a bounce. And there's a McClellan oscillator out there, and I'm not even sure I know what it means, but some guys are saying we could have a bounce today.
Well, why don't we take a look at the S&P? Have we done that?
Yeah.
Did we do that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm.
No. Well, we can do it. Let's look at it again.
Fine.
Let's look at it
again.
You know
what? I don't think people know. I have a head cold the size of Arizona.
Yeah.
So we did look at the S&P.
Well, but let's look at it. I want to see where it closed.
We looked at the S&P.
Yeah, but
you know, it was a couple charts ago.
Yeah, but you know what?
I don't know anything.
You know what?
What?
I'll tell you what.
Okay.
Down only 5 points. So that rallied, looks like, off the low, 25 points. That's a big correction. No.
I have been paying attention. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on. These guys are in my ear. I'm on the computer.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think, you know what? It looks like the market is getting ready for a better week next week. You know, I hate to be so wishy-washy, but that's what you got to do. You got to, the market send out some signals today. A little better signals. You know, they were sending, I don't want to say smoke signals, but maybe on a pot show you should say.
Well, you should, and so much of that is driven by what? Rumors, emotion, people freaking out, taking money out. People start to get worried that things are overheated, and then they say, I got to go to cash. You've been telling me all week I should go to cash.
Let's consider this. Let's take all the investors in the world, with each of their objectives.
Okay.
They're all in there on a daily basis, buying, selling, whatever their objectives are, whatever their, you know, based on, you know, the wife needs new purse or something.
The wife.
Well, the wife.
The wife needs a new purse.
Yeah.
On International Women's Day.
Like,
anyway, so keep
going
going
out of the market. My daughter, you know, wants a Gucci purse, and my wife wants a Chanel purse. Okay.
Do they?
Yeah.
Nice.
Something like that. Look, there's a million reasons to sell.
Right. Oh, I see what you're saying.
One reason to buy. Think about that. Why would you buy a stock? Because you want it to go up.
Right. You believe it's going to go up.
But there's a million reasons to sell a stock. Tuition, generate cash, fear. It's sort of, you know, almost rigged against you.
Right, because there really is only one reason you'd buy a stock is you're betting it's going to go up.
Right, but if you
wake up one day and you find out you got a flood in your basement, you need to get some cash. Yeah. You could sell that day. It had nothing to do with the market and indicators and indices. It could just be, got to have some money.
Exactly.
Am I exhausting you with all these questions?
No, it's actually it's fun. It's fun to be engaged.
It is not that we're engaged.
No, we're not engaged.
I'm not.
There's an ED at the end of engaged, by the way. Just saying. So, you're going back to Yuck Yucks tonight?
There's an ED at the end
of engaged.
What's the ED?
Ed.
Ed! I thought you were talking about erectile dysfunction.
Special ed.
Special ed. All right, well, listen. We got other stuff coming up. Are you guys going to change the prompter at any point? Or are we still looking at the big cannabis news and events coming up? I thought we already did that.
Well, let's.
Did we not already do that?
You know, I want to point out.
Yes.
I want to point out a couple gold stocks here.
Will you do that?
Let's do it.
that,
okay.
and then we're going to throw to the next interview.
Yeah, because we're running. Right. It's a long week, and you've done it, Howard. You've done a great job. I got to tell you.
Well, let's save all that to the end. Because
we don't want this to be a blooper.
That's right. I want a 10-minute wrap up. Ed's going to look at some gold. I know, and by the way, I've seen they don't like when you look at gold for some reason.
Some of them do.
Some of them do, but some of them don't like it when Ed goes to gold.
Look at we got Amex up 127. Now this is the one I found at 19 cents. Okay.
Which one?
Amex expiration.
Right. This is your baby.
This is my little baby.
You love this one.
This one's made me likable again amongst the people that need my money. Anyway, you know what? So look at this thing's had a monster move, and then there was rumors around that they were playing around with their drill results.
They were.
No, there was a rumor, and somebody actually said it, and he because he thought surely these results can't be this good.
Right.
So look at this. It hit $1.52, I think, right there.
Wow.
And then in here, it hit 83 cents.
Amazing.
That was in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. And then 1, 2, 3 days later, 4 days later, it's 127. So 152, 83, 127. You can make a career out of this stuff.
You have made a career out of this.
Well, I'm trying. But so Amex supposedly more drill results next week.
Is it too late to buy this?
You know what? A lot of people say there's two schools of thought. If this really gets big, it's going to $5 to $10.
No way.
Yeah. Yes way.
And you bought it at what?
I started at 19, but I did get out.
19 cents.
Yes, sir.
If it goes to $5, and then you think it might go to $5?
I'm not sure older again.
That's a multi-banger.
Bagger.
Yeah. Not a banger?
You know what a multi-banger is?
I do. Ed.
What?
Stop it, man.
Okay, you're funny. You set me up for these jokes.
International Women's Day, Ed.
Well,
it's a multi-banger? Bagger. I need a multi-banger. That's what I want.
Okay, so let's take a look at... we got some laughing in the production room.
Dudes, lose the sidebar.
Yeah.
Lose it. Lose this.
Okay.
This little thing on the side. Lose that part.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah,
Jesus. Because they haven't done it all week.
And
you know what it is? Connor's hung over as a fucking monkey.
Seriously. He's hung like a monkey.
Connor, he's not, is he? You don't want it to be boring. It's too late for that, boys.
He's hung like a monkey.
Don't want it to be boring.
Anyway.
We passed that milestone minutes ago.
Yeah.
Now what are we looking at?
One other one.
Hey, have we looked at the S&P yet today? I'm kidding.
Wait a minute. You know what?
So long
I can't
ago.
remember because I got a bad memory. Okay, so one other one I want to look at, and sorry to listen.
I know we're fine. We're back on schedule.
So here's a stock. Look at this baby.
All right.
This is the one I had the warrants in. Remember I was explaining to you the warrants?
They
had no value.
Nope.
And then they had a lot of value.
All of a sudden there's warrants.
So look at this thing. This thing went from 6 cents to 28 cents trading. Look at the volume here. That's amazing. So now why is that? Now this is one of the appeals of the gold world.
You
drilling.
Love it. Yeah.
Well, you find high grade gold.
Yeah, man.
Like you could have a plot of land.
Yeah.
You put in a drill. You got high grade gold. You go to the bank.
6 cents to 24. That's a 4-banger.
6 to 28.
28.
Now back to 12.
Okay.
And now 14. And rumors are this ship is about to take off again. Rumors.
Buy on rumor.
Sell
on news. Up next, I'll be talking to the people behind the O'Cannabiz Conference taking place next month. Have a look. O'Cannabiz is a cannabis business conference and expo taking place in Toronto from April 25th to 27th. O'Cannabiz is a full-spectrum cannabis event that connects thousands of expert companies and brands integrated into the industry, including lighting, nutrients, greenhouse construction and supplies, lifestyle, medical and legal issues, marketing, and market analysis. Guest speakers include Ricky Lake, Montel Williams, and Steve D'Angelo. And hold on, we're doing this now. This is actually happening. It's great to have a couple of people here in the studios representing something called the O'Cannabiz Conference and Expo. It's in Toronto, April 25th through 27th, International Center. Please say hello to the Senior Vice President of Programming, Danya Dixon. Hello, Danya.
Hello there.
And with me, a friend of mine, full disclosure, my buddy, the president and CEO of Rainmaker PR, Corey Herskew. Young man, good to see you.
Thank you, Dad.
Always a pleasure to hang with my little bar mitzvah boy. Danya Dixon. Danya,
yes.
Danya.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you very much.
Should I hug her on air, or is that weird?
Pardon me?
Should I hug her for Women's Day?
No, I don't go anywhere near her.
No.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Do I have to tell you everything? It's International Women's Day. It's not about you.
I know, I have a hard time with that.
We tried to maneuver that around, yeah.
You know, it's interesting. You're the senior vice president, and I've known Danya's family for a long time. Her father has been putting on huge trade shows, and Canadian Music Week was basically created by her father. And now you guys, the family business, is now morphing into this Wild West, the frontier of cannabis and related industries. Let's tell people who've never been to a cannabis expo what they would expect.
Sure. So the event itself is actually comprised into a few different components. So we have the business conference. So that's, you're looking at topics such as state of the industry, you're looking at the new branding regulations, you're looking at new joint ventures and mergers and acquisitions, learning basically how the cannabis industry works, and if you're interested, how to get into that. Then we also have the expo, so that runs for 2 days at the International Center, and you have everything there from the licensed producers, you have the growers and cultivators, you have your new startups, you have people displaying their new CBD products and explaining that, and infused products and skincare regimens and new software systems for retail. I mean, it's endless. It really is every sector.
But to be clear, there is an industry component to it.
Yes.
Yes.
And you know, a lot of people watching the Midas Letter interested in investing and companies and learning more about how they operate. So there's industry at O'Cannabiz.
That's correct.
And the public is welcome, because I walked around it last year, and it was the first weed-related conference I'd ever been at. It was insane. I just didn't know what to expect. I think there's a lot of things about this industry people would be surprised about, not the least of which is, as you were just saying, the variety.
Yeah.
The so many different aspects of cannabis. It is endless, and this year, and now last year was pretty big. I mean, is this year going to be bigger?
It is. So yesterday, it feels like yesterday. Last year we had about 60,000 square feet worth of expo space. This year we've actually increased to 100,000 square feet. So we're looking at almost 250 different booths that we have there.
Wow.
We actually are putting a main stage in the trade show to have some of our workshops and keynotes, demo stage presentations, and we've actually divided into industry, and then we have a day where the public are allowed to come. So we're dedicating content and subject matter to health and wellness. So you can learn about skincare, you can learn about proper dosing, talk to doctors about pain management, you can learn about athletes in cannabis. We have Montel Williams and Ricky
Well, I want
Lake.
to ask you about that.
This is where it gets exciting.
Yeah, this is the fun part.
Yeah, what now? Because that's sort of the big star. Montel Williams will be speaking on cannabis. What?
He's going to be talking about his lifetime kind of struggle with MS. So we actually had him speak in our Vancouver event back in December, and he has an amazing story where patients can obviously connect with him on that level, and just the education that he brings. And he's an amazing, entertaining speaker. So we're really excited to have him.
And is that a daytime thing with Montel?
That's a
by the way,
daytime thing.
if you're looking at
the nights when things get really interesting.
Well, the conference.
The nights when things get interesting.
Well, let's tell people to go to O'Cannabiz.com for all the details. What happens at night?
So we're trying to plan a couple things. For sure we have a Village People themed party, and that's really exciting because I want to see you in a headdress, and people will pay for those pictures. Okay. Let's just be real here. Okay?
All right. Let's be real.
Let's just be real here.
Let's keep it real.
That's
Corey.
what they're coming for. They're not coming for the network, and they're not coming to meet people.
They want to see me as dressed as one of the Village People.
But with your abs out.
Yeah. By the way, I'm a little surprised because usually you dress like one of the Village People. I
have my hat.
Corey has his hat.
Dear.
He comes into the studio and he's dressed. He's got the hat on like the Jewish Lone Ranger.
Yep.
So what's happening at night? I just want to get to the part about Montel. Is that open to the public for people to see?
It is. So he's going to be on this Saturday, which is our industry and public day. So the public will be able to see him, and he'll be on the red carpet afterwards, talking to the attendees that are there. Mingling. And then Ricky Lake is going to be on right after him.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a 90s talk show reunion. I love that.
Back,
we just need someone throwing a chair, and we're like,
perfect.
What was his name? Jerry?
So Corey Herskew is a PR guy I've known for a long time, and it's interesting to see how your business has morphed. Corey is involved with several different cannabis-related companies. O'Cannabiz is just something that Rainmaker is involved in. Isn't it interesting as a young person?
Thank you for calling me young still. I
young
appreciate
person.
That,
Don't you find it interesting though that your business, like a lot of businesses in Canada, has morphed into this cannabis space?
I think that evolution is a good thing, and you have to let yourself keep going, otherwise you die.
Right.
That's it. And the Gretzky saying you have to skate to where the puck is going, not to where the puck is. And I used to have a hustle in a different part of the industry and technology.
Yeah.
And I discovered cannabis for personal medicinal use. It's helped me with a lot. And I thought, you know what, I'm good at what I do, and I have to share that story. And that was in cannabis. I just said, that's it, I'm in. And,
I mean, some of the there's some of the companies that Corey has been involved in that you people who watch the letter may have heard of. Emblem, you've done some work for.
Yeah.
Who else?
Emblem, Vapium, Block Strain, Origin House. There's a lot of them. Burnt bongs.
Last year at O'Cannabiz, I went there, and again, this was my first one. I think I also went to Lift last year as well. And I didn't know what to expect, but cannabis wasn't legal in Canada last year.
Not yet.
So,
are we,
I just want to know, because last year when I went to the O'Cannabiz Expo, I was like, would there be weed here? But obviously there was not. It wasn't legal.
No.
This year, would that be different?
We're still playing within, the rules and regulations.
Legalities.
Legalities, yes. There won't be any weed on site, no cannabis, nothing like that. It really is educational in scope. So
you want to get your feet wet in the industry.
You do, yeah.
Well, I will say this. I remember last year there was a mock-up of a store, a bricks and mortar store, and that's when I went back and I was talking about being there with my partner Fred on the Humble and Fred show. I said, Fred, my eyes were opened by this. And he said, why? I said, because I just never considered all the aspects of the cannabis industry until I saw that storefront in the expo, because there were people there saying, hey, if you want to open up a dispensary eventually, we'll help you through. And I said, that just shows you how far-reaching the business is in Canada.
Oh, absolutely.
And even integrating now with technology, and we're talking about skincare, and with
converges with everything, with every business.
We're venturing out of it. We're even it's transcending species. Now there's people who are doing it for equestrian part and for animals.
I was going to say, one of the first things, this happened about a year and a half ago, someone gave us a sort of a gift bag of CBD-related products, and one of them was for pets.
Oh, yeah.
It's all there at O'Cannabiz. The Conference and Expo is in Toronto, April 25 through 27. It's bigger than last year, as you were saying, but is there still room for people to, if they want a booth? I'm assuming you're still...
We are almost sold out. We're almost sold out. We actually
out.
just had to increase the space. So if you're going to get a booth, you have to do it soon.
Okay.
Something new to add to the bill is our O'Cannabiz Industry Awards Gala that we just announced last week.
You are talking about it. I didn't know we were talking about it.
Did we just assign a host? Is there a... Is there somebody
that
you're looking for a host?
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Wait. No, the casting class is scheduled. We'll schedule you in for a casting class.
Oh, will you?
I will fit you in.
Can I borrow your stupid hat? Sorry, I didn't
My
mean to
hat
say
will get you the role. We all know it's the reality.
That's how we hired him. For the hat.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Seriously,
hammer. I just came in.
If some of you older people are wondering what a hipster looks like, that's it.
There we go.
Well, listen, it's very exciting. We're all looking. I can't wait to go again because I really enjoyed it last year.
Yeah,
and I'd encourage, if you're curious about this business,
Mention Henry Rollins too.
Pardon me?
You didn't mention Henry Rollins is going to be there, and that's exciting also.
Henry Rollins.
Yeah. He's
Come
one of
on.
our-
Henry Rollins. We said Ricky Lake and Montel. Henry Rollins, Black Flags, Henry Rollins will be there. Please.
Well, you just did.
There you go.
I just took it away from you. I did
What I was going to say, though, is, a lot of you people that are interested in this business, this is a one-stop shop to go and find out everything. A lot of the companies you're interested here as an investment will be there represented at this conference and expo. It's in Toronto. Dania Dixon, the Vice President of Programming. Corey Herskew. Is it Herskew?
Herskew.
What a pleasure. What a pleasure to be in your presence again from Rainmaker PR. And make sure you check it out. The website's easy, O'Cannabiz.com.
Let's talk about Aurora. Recently, your financials, you've more or less delivered on
Here are the headlines moving markets today.
If you're lucky to buy it 3 days ago at 37 cents,
and I think it has a lot to do with some of these smaller names giving really...
Recreational cannabis is here.
It's quite dry. So I'm going to eliminate the stocky bits.
I think it's Canopy. I get it.
All right, we're just about done. Thank you so much for allowing me to sit in this chair for the week. I just looking at some of the comments. Here's Ivan Black. I had to really look to find somebody that didn't think I was an idiot, but Ivan Black says, "Thanks, Howard. Way to step up and become an expert in a week. Ed, pressure's on." I don't know what that means. I couldn't have done it. I'll tell you what.
I got some serious pressure.
Dude. Old dude. What a it was great hanging with you. I really appreciate the help you gave me, and
hopefully the viewers learned something.
Well, I know I did, and not just sitting on, not just during the broadcast, but behind the scenes as well. Ed held my hand in a very tender and
loving way,
in a very tender and loving way, and made it make sense to me. Also, thanks to Donald, and Connor, Simon, Suzanne. And, of course, producer Ricky Gurwitz. And James West will be back in this chair on Monday. I might actually show up. I like coming here now. It's fun. I just hope that I can get one of those triple bangers. But what are they called?
Triple baggers.
Baggers. Now, perhaps, the best part of the week. Let's see how much we screwed up on camera. Here are your Midas Letter Live bloopers.
We have a really great show today. I just don't know what it's going to be because these are not the pages that I'm looking for. So I'm just going to guess or make shit up.
Howard's back.
Just let it breathe, Ed. Would you mind if I asked you a question?
I'm not so sure. I hear they're changing the name of Juju.
Yeah? Really? To Doo-Doo?
Yeah.
No.
Did you hear that? Hey, did you hear that? Ben thinks I'm doing a great job. Did you hear?
Everybody has an opinion.
Yeah. More or less. Oh, I see. Reconnecting to me. Well, I'll tell you what. Ed Milewski. Ed. See, I'm 18 seconds into this, and I got something wrong.
No.
Oh!
And it's had a meteoric rise from Labor Day. Not Labor Day. Christmas.
Ed's a little tired. I'm sick.
Hey, we're sick and tired.
That's right.
I know my way around.
I have no doubt about that, Ed, but what are you talking about?
No.
You know your way around what? Ed starts asking me if I want to text him back. How did he put it? He said, before he said, dude, we're talking about maybe keeping in touch, helping to educate me. He goes, do you do the texting? Do you have the texting?
Ed, did you have a good break there?
Yeah, I had a real nice break. Had some cucumber.
Did you have some cucumber?
Yeah.
What did you do with it?
Ate it.
You ate it?
Didn't sit on it.
No, that's a relief, because that would be the end of that cucumber.
See that? Can you see that?
Jesus.
There.
Wait,
Look at that.
Do you do the texting?
Jesus Christ.
But you have to do it in a Scandinavian. Do you do the texting?
Do you do the texting? He wants to be my friend. Hey, hey, Ed.
How do I get to you?
Wait, Ed, give me your pager number. Hey,